Live eruption right here.
Thank you for joining us, guys, on this special report right along
Live
live.
eruption
And we
right
are
here.
monitoring and watching all that's
Live.
happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now. As we said it earlier, there is currently an evacuation alert for the folks in the red zone areas of St. Vincent. We're going to learn about the areas which is considered to be red zone shortly. We have a few of our correspondents, of our friends, our colleagues on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they're going to be telling us what they're seeing, what they're hearing, and what they're feeling at this point in time. It's a very important program tonight, guys, as we explore what's happening. And the other reason why I think it was important that we come on here and do this program is because there are a lot of misinformation that is going around, that is circulating, that is causing additional tension and heightened anxiety to people in the diaspora, right? I've seen pictures of, I mean, it's clearly not St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but it's circulating. And people here, they don't know what to believe. They're seeing things, they're seeing fire, they're seeing lava coming down rocks, and this is clearly not what's happening at the moment. However, we cannot minimize the fact that right now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there are a heightened state of alert. The people, a lot of people have started to evacuate since from earlier when the Prime Minister gave his evacuation notice to leave the red zone areas. All right. We have our friend. First, we're going to speak to Wayne, who is joining us right now. He's in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He is at a very well, the orange zone kind of area vantage point. He's able to give us a bird's eye view as to what's happening. Wayne, thank you for joining us. And I know it's last minute, brother. How you doing, Wayne?
All in the faith, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, really tricky situation. Obviously it's getting later. A lot of people are still on the roads, and if I'm honest with you, I don't think half of the community, the population out this side has been evacuated as yet.
Yes.
There's nothing being done, provided like transportation wise from the government at all. Couple of people have their private cars, so they've gone on, but there's still people outside stranded on the roads, just hoping, really.
Wayne, give us an idea as to where you are in St. Vincent right at the moment.
So I'm actually in the red zone, not the orange.
You in the red zone?
Yeah, we're in the red zone. We're probably the furthest point north you can go. A little village called Owie.
Right.
Yeah, a little fishing village. Very, very, very rural. it's not one of the islands where you can drive all the way around. So
right.
yeah, so from Oya you go to Fancy, and then from Fancy you got to turn back and drive that way if you want to go back towards the town. So we're like the second most rural village. But yeah, we're in the red zone.
Yeah. When did you, in the area that you're in right now, when did you start to experience the effects of the volcano? How long?
Um, well, a bit further on from, we are in an area where the Atlantic wind that comes across is quite strong. So
Right.
we're on what you call the windward side.
Right.
You've got what you call the leeward side, which where the winds push towards. So all of the prevailing winds would have carried all the sulfur smells and push all the acid rain that has been falling. So from Fancy onwards, that area is pretty much brown.
Wow.
It's been burnt. Not from like obviously the heat or the lava, of course, but because of the amount of acidity in the rain that would have fallen, and from the strong sulfur that was pushed off. So that's been going on for a couple of months now. Earlier this week, I would say like when was it? Yesterday or the day before? They had like 500 tremors and like
How bad? How bad
earthquakes
was
and
the
so
tremors?
forth.
How bad was the tremors, Wayne?
Well, I was out fishing on the day, so obviously out at sea, you can't, you don't feel anything really out that side. But from reports, people felt some that shook their whole houses and all the windows and stuff like that.
Wow. Wow. We
Yeah.
continue. So the currently, right? And
Yes.
earlier today we saw that the prime minister gave an evacuation notice to the people in the red zone areas.
Yes.
Why didn't the people in these areas, being in so close proximity to the volcano, why why wait so long? Because now there's traffic jam and there's hard to get out of this area. What took people so long to get out of there? If it looked as if it, I mean, for all this time, it was bubbling, it was lava, it was smoking. Why you guys wait
Yes.
so long?
So it's one of those things where you can't. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like my grandma, I've managed to move her out a lot earlier this week, and she's at my mom's at the moment. So people who could have moved. They didn't wait on the evacuation notice. The problem that you got was school was meant to be reopened pretty soon.
Right.
So I think it was announced that school will be open on the 12th, which has been Monday coming. And most of these schools were what they were going to use as evacuation centers. So the people from the villages, they couldn't move until the order was given. So that was the problem that they faced, really. So I'm not sure what time the order was given, but people were packed and ready to go, and I guess it was announced that transportation would be in certain areas to pick them up, but nothing came.
Yeah, but Wayne, and I concur with a lot of our viewers. You are in the dead zone. You are in the red zone, which is a
Yes,
hotspot,
correct.
which you should not be at this moment. Why are you staying? Why have you why are
Well,
you staying there?
well, listen. There are a lot of folks, although the order has been given, there are a lot of folks here who had made it clear that they're not going to go anywhere.
Why?
Um,
Why?
the, the situation of the whole the pandemic that's going on, the
Right.
COVID cases have been quite high in St. Vincent at the moment. So a lot of people kind of made the decision to stay at home than to go in a shelter where they would be, mixing with, people who they're not familiar with and stuff like that. So
Right.
that played a part. Like I said, I stayed behind just to make sure my family get out and stuff like that. Couple of them are still around waiting on just a transportation to get them out. Then I'll be heading out. But yeah, although the evacuation notice has been given, I don't think it was made like mandatory that you had to go, sort of thing.
Right, but I'm just seeing the danger when you look at footage and you see something like this. You're seeing this. This is,
Mhm.
I mean, this is not a doctored footage, right? This is real footage that we're
No,
looking
yeah,
at.
yeah, that,
Correct?
that looks very much like Last of Rain.
So when you stand there and you look out, you seeing this thing. You're aware of the possibilities. What could happen next?
So, sorry, not to cut you off.
Now, go ahead.
They when I say like we are like very rural. Obviously, I'm not sure where your targeted like our audience are from, but like they it's kind of tricky out this sides. Like the elderly people who don't have access to the whole Wi-Fi and Facebook where these things would have been on.
Right.
So, a lot of them would have experienced it prior, which was like 1979,
Yes.
when they had to go off to the camps and stuff like that. So they're mainly the ones who kind of decided that they're not going to go anywhere. The other thing is, although we're in the red zone, where the volcano is, it's not visible from a lot of places,
Right.
especially at these points. So it's been overcast that bad that we can't see, we can't even smell the sulfur that's been going on for the past few months. So that's just my thinking why people have decided not to go.
Right.
But
Go ahead. Finish your thought, Wayne.
it's really tricky, man. It really is. I've heard people saying that they weren't going anywhere, but the minute the order was given, they were some of the first ones packed
Right.
and ready to go. So there's a few things that would have put people off moving. COVID
Right.
hasn't made it easy by any means.
Right.
Especially the elderly people who obviously travel with different ailments and stuff like that. So in that respects, they've just decided to stay at home and weather the storm, really.
Well, it's certainly not a storm. What's your plans, Wayne? If things get started to deteriorate and get even worse than it is right now, what's your next move?
Well, like I said, I was only hanging around just to make sure my family get out, and then soon as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna look to move, buddy.
How long does it take you from where you are right now to someplace safe?
Um, Probably about half an hour.
And with what we're seeing on the streets, I mean, there are a lot of traffic. You know,
Yeah, I ride a bike, so I kind of get a little advantage.
okay, okay, all right, guys. We heard earlier from the Prime Minister. I want to play back some of the audio from the Prime Minister as he announced the order for people to leave those red zone area. Let's check some audio from the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, earlier today. All right, all right. I'm hearing that. All right, stand by, guys. Stand by. Let me fix that audio. I heard that folks say that they wasn't hearing. Let me
Quite
back
low.
up that. You were hearing it, or you weren't hearing it? You were hearing it low.
No, I was very, very, very low.
Very low. All right. Okay. So what I was playing there was the declaration made by the Prime Minister earlier. I'm not sure why the audio wasn't going out. I was hearing it perfectly fine in my headphones. But okay. So Wayne, from where you are at this moment, right, and you look out through your window, what are you seeing?
Well, obviously it's it's like 9:20, which is quite dark outside. The electricity is still on. There's still a few people outside waiting to be picked up.
Could you point your camera outside? Let me see what it looks like outside. This is live footage. Again, guys, we are speaking with Wayne, and he decided to stay back a bit. Okay, so that's outside.
I'm just trying to turn the camera around. I don't see the option.
Yeah, I don't know if you would be able to do that.
Yeah.
All right. While you try to set that up, Wayne, let's just bring in Wayne. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Let's just bring in a colleague. Patel. Oh, he just logged off. Okay, we'll try to get him back again.
Yeah, that's Patel Matthews.
Yeah, Patel Matthews. Let's see if we can get him back on the live.
Oh yeah.
Guys, continue to feed us.
Yeah, hey buddy. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, you were showing us outside, but it was dark.
Yeah, there's still a few people on the road waiting around. Like I said, I am not sure the exact time the order was given to evacuate. People with their private cars and stuff like that who could have left.
Right.
Of the ones who decide that they're gonna go. Nothing from the government in terms of transportation out this side.
Right.
Nothing at all.
Right. Patel Matthews, welcome to the live. So thank you for joining us to give us some insight as to what's happening. Mr. Matthews, could you give us a vantage point as to where you are and what you were able to observe?
Okay, I was on the main road, but the lighting was a problem, so I am back at home. I am at home at the moment.
Okay, all right. So Patel, give us an idea as what's going on, because there are a lot of footage that's circulating. Some of it is not actual authentic footage. We've seen footage of people showing lava, but it's clearly not St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When you look out, what are you seeing? What's happening right now?
Okay, well, I am in an area that is kind of enclosed, so from my vantage point in my community, I will not be able to see what is happening. However, about an hour ago, I was at a vantage point where I can have...
Sorry to cut you, Patel. If there's a fan blowing in your microphone?
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Is that better now?
Yeah, that's much better. Go ahead, sorry.
Yes, I was saying I was at a vantage point, just a few minutes away from where I am at the moment, and where I can see the volcano. And at that time, when I was there, I saw what appeared to be fire from around the crater, the rim of the crater. There was fire, about two blazes of fire. I am not sure if they were coming from the crater itself or from vegetation around the crater. Because as the gentleman pointed out a while ago, there are a lot of burnt vegetation around the crater. So I am not sure if the fire that we saw earlier on, if that came from vegetation that became lighted because of the excess heat that was coming from the crater. But that was about an hour ago. Since that time, there have been evacuation by boat, mainly out of the town of Chateaubelair. Several ferries journey from Kingston to Chateaubelair to take out people from Chateaubelair, Fitzhugh, Richmond, Petit Bordel, and so on. Just a while ago, I saw another boat going into Chateau that looks like a tourist ship. I understand it was a vessel from Royal Caribbean. I'm not sure about that, but I did get that information that a Royal Caribbean vessel was on its way to Chateaubelair. Now, there are people from my area that are moving out by buses, cars, trucks, whatever means of transportation they are getting to move out. And there are others who are just staying put and try to ride it out, you know. But most of the people, if I dare say about more than 60, 65, 70% from my community, they have moved out. And the similar numbers in Chateaubelair are moving out via ships that are docked at the Chateaubelair port. Now, we have an advantage here in the leeward side. It is a calmer area of the country, and evacuation by boat is much more easier than from Owiak, for example, where my good friend was speaking from. He has it hard because the sea on that side is always rough because of the proximity to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
In our area in North Leeward, we're on the leeward side, the sheltered area of the country. And as a result, it is easier to ferry people out using the ferries that usually transfer between Kingston and the Grenadines. So that is what is happening now. Quite a number of ferries, about 4 large ferries came into Chateaubelair, and people are moving out. And I said earlier on, they are using private vehicles, vans as well, to get out of the red zone in particular.
Yes, yes. Well, you mentioned the red zone, and Wayne made mention of where he is at the moment, right? And I'm kind of concerned. How concerned should he be in the location that he is right now?
Okay, well, he is in Owe, and Owe is in the red zone, and the disadvantage I believe he might have, I think he mentioned it, he might not be able to get a visible look at the volcano to know what is happening. And maybe if there is an eruption, a very violent eruption, there could be, he might have some difficulty getting out, because I remembered as a youngster in 1979, even though we had an eruption, we were moving out during the day, and the visibility became a problem. And it is night, and where they could only come out by vehicle, not by boat, as we do in North Leeward, that could be a problem, because coming from a place like Oria, in the night, if there is a violent eruption, visibility will be a problem.
So why haven't or is the government making provisions to make this red zone areas mandatory evacuated? Why aren't they assisting people to get out of this particular location?
Well, to be honest with you, I was at a loss when I realized that. For example, I had a discussion with Nemo, I think it was on Tuesday, as part of our team. And the NEMO plan on paper, it sounds very well. That's the National Emergency Management Organization that is responsible for the evacuation process. And they had a good transportation plan on paper. And if the plan kicked in as it should have, it would have been a smooth operation. But it didn't happen. People were on the road, for example, from my community to Coles Hill. We are in the orange zone, right? And Chateaubelair, Fitzhugh, Richmond are part of the red zone. Initially, we were told if there was a warning, the type like what we have now, where we move out before there is actually a violent eruption,
right?
Then it should have been smooth, because the idea was that ships would take people from the red zone, and buses will take people from the orange zone out. Now, the evacuation order was given for the red zone, but then there was people from the orange zone as well who were told to move as well. And that became a problem, because they were on the road looking for buses to come and pick them up, as was the plan by NEMO, and it never happened. In the end, people had to use whatever means necessary to get to the port in Chateaubelair, because they were waiting in Petit Bordel and other areas for the vans to come, and the vans didn't come. So they went to Chateaubelair by whatever means, some walk, some ride bus, some ride trucks, some used public transportation, begged for rides, and whatever means, as I said, and they got to Chateaubelair and was able to catch some of the ferries before they left the port of Chateaubelair. In terms of government, I suspect that they were not expecting, even though we had ample time since December, ample time to plan this thing properly in terms of evacuation. But apparently, all the plans did not quite materialize, and hence the reason why we are in this problem in terms of transportation and getting people out. Some people are of the impression that today, when the press conference was called, many thought that this opportunity would be the ideal time to issue the evacuation order, but it never came until several hours after that.
Yes.
And that was a bit puzzling.
Yeah, and the evacuation order came in, and I'm going to read it off for you guys, and it's very, very serious. I mean, you don't get any more serious than that. The evacuation order given as condition at La Soufriere volcano in St. Vincent deteriorate. St. Vincent Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves had issued the evacuation order effective immediately, as the alert level has elevated to red, which is the danger sign. Very, very dangerous. This is strong language, and I mean this would frighten me and anybody living in the close proximity. But we still see that people not heeding to it. What more? Is there more that needs to be done? Is there more awareness, more media? Is it have to be a mandatory something where they just go and they'll pick people up? I mean, what needs to be done? Because people are still in the dead zone, the danger zone.
Okay, well, personally, as I said, we had quite a lot of time since December last year. We knew that the La Soufriere volcano was acting up, if I to use a local term. We were aware of that. There were several updates given by NEMO and also from the University of the West Indies Seismic Unit. So we knew that something was amiss. The impression that we got from NEMO, it was as if they have everything in order.
Right.
I was a meeting that I mentioned earlier on where we were given a plan, and the plan sounded well. Transportation to take people from the orange zone by bus and transportation by sea from people in the red zone. When the call was made for evacuation, the transportation by buses didn't come through as planned. However, the transportation by boat, that kicked in well. And
Yes.
quite a number of persons were able to left the area by boat. When I came from the main road just a few minutes ago before I came on the program, there was quite a number of persons with their luggage, their suitcases, their bags waiting for transportation. Some have been advised. I have talked to quite a number of people and tell them, well, the best bet is to get to Chateaubriand at the port because it seems that no vans are coming your way. Some vans, about 2 vans came and they took people from Petitbodel to catch the boat, which was not part of the initial plan. But in the end, people want to get out, so they use the next best option, which is to go by boat. But as I said, we had ample time, we were on, and I believe the rollout could have been better if things were more tightly organized.
Yeah.
Junior, just obviously I could see a couple of your fans commenting as to why people are still here.
Yeah.
It's like what Mr. Matthew said, like leading up to all this, obviously NEMO, which is the National Emergency Organization, they came around and they basically said to the people living here, if it goes, red, that you need to get out, that transportation would be here to pick you up. It's coming up minutes to 10 and people are still outside waiting. And I'm telling you, nothing from the government side has been this way. So obviously they're still waiting because of what was promised. So in terms of organization, they got that one wrong.
Yes, you caught me.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's like I said earlier, who could have gotten out did. In the prior days leading up to this, because obviously there were signs, but it just so happened that all these shelters, which are schools and these places, school was meant to be open on Monday.
Exactly.
So no one had, could have planned, let me move in a week earlier. There was nothing of that sort. So that's why everyone now is hustling to move today.
Right, right.
You know, if he had said, you know what, obviously school has been closed for how many months now because of COVID. If he had said, let's start moving a week earlier, let's do it in phases, you know, instead of you just doing it bang and expect, you know, numerous villages to just start moving at once. Obviously, it's going to cause chaos.
Yeah, and it's surely look as if it's looking as if it's going to be a little bit chaotic. Um, um, Matthew, you spoke about 1979, and one of the things that you could have learned from 1979, well, for one, it was in the daytime, so it was not as complicated to get around. What do you think was learned, or do you think anything was learned that was implemented this time from 1979?
Well, to be honest with you, in 1979, we didn't have all the so-called advantages that we had now.
Right.
And I remember people didn't wait on any transportation. People just move out on foot they keep walking, and whenever they got a ride, whether by boat or by road transportation, they took it. Now, I think that comparing them to now and what was learned, it was realized that, okay, in an area like North Leeward, so Chateaubelair to Coleshill, it will be easier to move people by boat. Logistically,
right,
it's much easier. And also, because of the road condition in this part, where the roads are very winding and very narrow, and road transportation, in my opinion, is a bottleneck. People coming in for their families, it can happen today, and people going out on narrow roads, winding corners, and anything can happen. So I think one of the messages from 79, even though we didn't do a big ferry evacuation using big boats, but based on the experience of 79, they realized, and Nemo correctly did, realize that, okay, to get people out of North Leeward, it will be better if they use the ferry. The water is calm, and I think it is a better bet than using everybody on the road. And it was a good idea as well at the main population center, which is the red zone from, say, Richmond to Chateaubelair, the town of Chateaubelair, where I think more than half the people are living. The idea to use ferry in that area was a good one to prevent all that traffic coming from Chateaubelair that could further congest the already narrow main road getting into Kingston. So I think that was something that I think I could give Nemo some kudos for, to have those ferries in Chateau and was able to do a mass evacuation easily.
Right, guys. We paying attention and looking very, very closely at what happened in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These footage were taken earlier today, and those footage are real. However, guys, you guys are on the ground, and I'm sure that you've seen some footage that is circulating that is not real.
Yes,
they are. I'm trying to pull up while we speak. I was trying to pull up some of the footage that I saw, and that clearly doesn't look like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I mean, it clearly is not.
That's been going on for a while, Junior. When this all started, you know, you'll be amazed what you find on Google. So obviously, all these images started appearing, but you know, Nemo, at least, you know, the minute a lot of these photos and videos started surfacing, at least they were quick to, like, you know, doubt them out straight away. So you know, at least the people in the red zone could have, you know, at least know, like, you know, that's not actually happening. So
right.
You know,
but if those footage are not real, paint a picture for us. I don't know which one of you guys could do it. Paint a picture for us. What is it really like? How bad is it right now?
Like I said, like from where I am, I don't have a clear shot of, like, you know, what the volcano is like doing at the moment. Right. However, I do fish a lot, and when you drive down to the areas where Mr. Matthews is, like I said, that area has been, you know, it's parched, brung from all the acid rain and all the sulfur. So to say what's actually going on at the top, you know, I honestly can't say. I'm not sure if Mr. Matthews can help. I'm not sure.
Mr. Matthew, how bad is it right now?
Okay, right now, in terms of the underground and people moving, I don't think it's that bad to say, because while, and if you look at the video now that you showed there, there was indeed an eruption that took place today, as you can see. There was an eruption that took place today. However, it was not a loud, violent eruption.
Right.
And most people, because they did not hear that sound, I don't think the level of panic that could have happened if there was a big outburst, it didn't take place, because people realize, okay, an order has been given. Quite a number of people have been moving out, and they're doing so without hearing a big bang. Let me put it that way.
Right.
So
Right.
the panic level is not that high.
Right.
Now, if on the other hand, like in 79, for example, when we were moving on the road, we were going up Chumuka Hill and we looked across and we saw this big mushroom. We heard this big noise for us. So this big mushroom, and people started screaming. There were ash falling on people as if they were bathing in cement. That's how people were looking from head to toe. That's how they looked 79 on their way out of North Leeward. The only thing that is a bit concerning it is the fact that we have to move out most in the night, and moving out in the night could be problematic, especially if we had to experience a violent eruption, as I mentioned before, in terms of visibility with ash and so on, and smoke and whatnot. So because those are absent for now, because even though the volcano is erupting, but we are not having loud and violent eruption. And that has contributed to less panicking, meanwhile people trying to get out.
I think more the panic is more so on our end, because this is one of the footage.
Because the pictures circulated, those pictures are
this picture. Could you tell me if this picture look or relate to anything remotely like what's happening there now?
No, the second picture, the one at the bottom, it looks like La Soufrière in its initial stage, but the reason why I will discount it is because we knew that there is a dome that is going sideways of the existing dome.
Right.
And this clay is absent from the bottom photo. Also, even before we got to the stage, that very photo was circulated before.
Right.
The one at the bottom especially. And the one at the top, I don't think that is Sint-Vincent either. The topography, the area above there doesn't resemble the topography of the La Soufrière. Not in my opinion. I don't think that those pictures are real.
So those pictures, guys, if you're seeing these pictures in your WhatsApp, and if you're seeing these pictures circulating, do not share these pictures. What these pictures are actually doing is adding to the anxiety of people who live in the diaspora, who live any place else, and thinking that this is what's happening. This is not what is happening at the moment. And we're not saying that the situation hasn't gotten worse over time, right? But this is not what's happening at the moment. Do not share these pictures. Do not tag me those pictures. Do not send it out. You are just adding to the anxiety of family members who live there. All right. So if you have this, please delete those pictures. It is not real. Okay. Again, we look at this picture right here. This happened early. This was from earlier, you would say, right, Matthews?
Yes, that picture was taken today around midday thereabouts, midday 2 o'clock area. So this is a genuine photo. Some brave lads went up there on the rim of the crater and was able to do that shot, and they were alive. So we witnessed an eruption, as you can see in the video. It's a small eruption, but it's an eruption nonetheless. And as I said, this photo or this video is a more real in terms of the La Soufrière and what is happening at the moment. Now, as I said to you before, we have information based on the UE monitoring unit, and they have been telling us that the dome is growing at a very rapid rate, and this in itself, because of the growth, and it is putting a lot of pressure on the crater wall. And on my side of the island, it's the leeward side, there is a low area on the crater. And if the dome continue to grow, what may happen it could put so much pressure on that low-lying end that it may cause a break in the crater rim, and you could have molten material lava flowing down some of the mountainside into areas that at this moment are mostly uninhabited. So that is something that we could look for as well. As I said to you earlier this evening, while I was at my vantage point on a hill looking across at these Lasufre, I saw blazes of fire. I guess they could be from the vegetation that was scorched, as my friend from Oya mentioned, or it can be fire emanating from the volcano. I am not sure what it was, but there was fire that was visible coming from the crater. But, and I said to people, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we, especially those people in the northern area who we are fancy right back to North Leeward, from North, we went back to North Leeward. There's something that we have lived, our parents, our grandparents have lived through this over many generations. People like myself, I told my kids of my 79 experience. To be honest with you, I am encouraging people to get out if it's possible, because I know from experience that inhalation of ash is a dangerous thing. In terms of panicking, I myself personally, I'm not having that feeling because I have went through something like this in the past. But it is evident, especially the young people who have never gotten this experience, they are beginning to panic. Some of them are asking questions, and it's good that I was able to soothe some of them, calm them down, and say, no, we have the time, which is different from 79. An order was given now when there is no violent eruption taking place, and we have time that we can move compared to 79 when we just woke up the Good Friday morning, and bam, we just went outside and we saw ash and was scared, and then we realized that something was wrong. But the media, as you said, my brother, the media, the various media platform that is available now, while the information is spreading, there is also a lot of false information that is spreading as well.
Yes.
And that is in itself causing problems, especially for families, as you mentioned, in the diaspora. They are seeing these ridiculous photos on Facebook circulating, and they are of the impression that this is what's happening. I have had several calls, people asking me what is happening, why are we not moving, it's getting bad, what they're seeing and whatnot. So, I agree with you, and I appeal to people like what you're doing to desist from causing unnecessary alarm and anxiety among friends and families in the diaspora.
Right, absolutely.
Anyway, Junior.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Listen, I got to run, okay?
Yes.
A minivan just came and took, a bit of people who were waiting on the outside. So I've got to make my exit. So thank you very much, and take care.
No problem. Wayne, run. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, buddy.
Tomorrow and get an update. All right. Thank you, Wayne. Patel, we have about 5 more minutes before we wrap up right here. But a lot of people were concerned and still concerned about Wayne and where he was located. If you were to advise people that was at a specific location, would you advise him to leave like days ago?
Now, as Wayne pointed out earlier on, right? If there are some people who left several days, a week ago, and especially older persons, senior citizens, some of them moved out. And the reason why most people did not move is because, in my opinion, they were getting mixed messages.
Yes.
At one point, we were told, listen, schools are going to be reopened on the 12th. Up to yesterday,
yeah,
we were of that impression. It is today during the press conference, we were informed that school will not be opening. So persons know, based on the information they're getting from the authorities, from the Prime Minister, name or whatever, a school was going to be open. So they were waiting. Most people go to school in their own local. Right. So they were waiting to go to school. Some people had their kids in other areas bring them back because school was going to open on Monday. No one thought that, because, or even though that the volcano was giving us signs that things could get worse, the authority, NEMO, was part of the encouraging people to vaccinate and teachers to do that and all of that, because the emphasis was on the reopening of school and to take the vaccination. That was the emphasis within the last couple of weeks. It is when there was a series of seismic activities. Earthquake, I think one was more than 3.5 at one point on the Richter scale.
Right.
And because of that, and what happened yesterday and earlier today, then it become serious that things are acting up and things could get worse. Hence the press conference today, and hence the order later on after the press conference. So I don't think that people were getting the message, even though they were informed to some extent, but the message to move out wasn't getting to them because, as I said, the emphasis was on opening school and also to take the vaccine. That was the priority seems of the authorities. So you cannot blame the people. People who moved out do so of their own initiative. They
Right.
they took that decision to move. But in terms of government giving the all clear, but even up at this morning at the press conference, the Prime Minister emphasized emphatically that no evacuation order was given. People hearing that, even though there was activities at the volcano, they say, let me stay put. Because NEMO, we are told this is the official body that would issue information. And if that body is telling the people not to evacuate and no order has been given, then people rely on that. As I said, those people who moved out do so based on their own initiative. It wasn't because they were told to move out before.
Right, right. We have a map on the screen, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the areas that's considered red, orange, yellow, and green. If you could just break it down for us, for the people that's watching that's not from St. Vincent, just give us a little run through of those areas that we're watching on the screen right now.
Okay, now in the red zone, as you can see, right, the red, Fancy Oya, that's and if you look at where the Soufriere Mountain is at, okay, those triangles are what the area the crater is. So those areas that form the northern portion of the country, the northern turn, the Fancy Oya, Sandy Bay, Overland, Orangeville, Georgetown, and the surrounding communities. On that side, on the right side of the screen, there, those represent the red zone for that area. On the left side, if you know the Chateaubriand, which is the major residential area, is in the orange zone. And Chateaubriand also would include villages such as Richmond. It would include villages such as Fitzhugh, Sharps, Barracks, and those areas within the immediate environment of Chateaubriand. And coming to the in that red zone as well is my community of Petit Border. It is not listed there, but it is there as well in the orange zone area. Now, interestingly, the order to evacuate was given for red zone, but because of the close proximity, communities in the orange zone, they were asked to move as well, even though it was a red zone warning. Now, you notice in the North Leeward area, it's a very vast constituency, if we look at it politically in terms of its geographic outlook. There are some communities in North Leeward, like, for example, Cumberland and Spring Village. They are in the yellow zone. It is not listed there, but they are in the yellow zone between the orange, and where you see Barrel is listed there. And the line that we have the Connery Mountain Church going across. Those areas, they have some villages as well that are from North Leeward. And persons, even though they have not been asked to evacuate, but they are in the North Leeward area, and some of them choose to leave as well. So the green zone that represents that is considered a safe zone. That's from Barrowley right up to the Calico area, Barrowley, right up to Leyu, Kingston, Calico, Annisvale, and it stretches across to Bayamo, Stubbs, and those Brighton and those areas. So, as I said, I am from the area, the orange zone, bordering the red zone. My friend that was on a while ago is from Oria, and he is on the northern side, as you can see, right almost to the tip of there. And in terms of proximity, and if you notice, there's a lot of, if you understand the contours, there are a lot of mountain there, and that is why he will not be able to see what is happening at the last of Frey. On the other hand, we are as far as the Chateaubriand area, and we have some peaks that we could go and look across and see what is happening. So, and also we have the advantage on this side that we are on the sheltered side of the country, so we can have both sea and vehicle evacuation. So, in comparison, it is much easier for us. And by extension, we have less people to evacuate. I think NEMO estimates our population to be about just under 5,000 in terms of for evacuation purposes. And as I said earlier on, quite a number of persons already left by boat. About 4 big ferries came into Chateaubriand and took people out. And later on, I understand a cruise ship, Caribbean, Royal Caribbean, went into that area as well to take people out. And a lot of people use their private vehicles as well to evacuate. So I think that went smoothly. And I said that the reason why there is no violent eruption, that's that people could panic. It's not easy to be on the road moving and you hear boom, boom, or whatever song the volcano is giving. Right. So in that sense, that absence of a rapid or violent eruption take away the panic aspect of it. It's that people just want to get out. And as I said earlier, the major concern was that of ground transportation for those areas that were earmarked to be transported by vans and buses and so on. Right. It didn't happen. People went to Chateaubriand instead to catch the ferry, and other people move out using private vehicles.
Right. I think we get a good idea, understanding. So the people that that's evacuated in the red zones on via boat, where is the boat and the muster station? I know there are a bunch of muster station that was announced in those areas. Where they've been taken or harbored right now?
Well, the good thing about it, right? You were asking me about one of the lessons learned from 79. Let's bring that in one time. Another lesson learned that the NEMO has published several notices, one of which to tell you what village will be moving to which community to be evacuated. Right. So, for example, those areas in the red zone, Chateaubriand Fituse, they would be at the Barrowley, Curtains, Lelio area. The reason for that, because in 79, one of the problems that we had, that people move everywhere, and there was a problem in locating relatives.
Right.
What NEMO is trying to do now is to put people from the same community in the same local. So, right. Like, for example, my community, they will be evacuated to Camden Park. So, offhand, if you have to look for someone from Petit Model, you go to Camden Park at one of the centers to look for that person. Also, if you're from Fitu Chateaubriand, you go to Baroli, Leyo to look for somebody. And that is how it is done. The communities, NEMO has done their evacuation allocation by communities. It is not, you just go in any and everywhere. And talking to the director of NEMO earlier on in the week, she said that is done so that families can be together, which is very important in a crisis situation.
Absolutely. I don't know if you mind if you could open up the phone lines a little bit to take a quick 212 call and know that this particular program is bringing a lot of ease to families, especially out here in the diaspora, because after seeing what we saw earlier and the circulation of those content that bring more headache and anxiety to people, I've been getting calls, and we needed to do this for clarification purposes. So I want to open up the phone lines, guys, if you want to call in. Doug, I saw Doug. In fact, Matthew, Doug said hi, by the way. Doug is an avid viewer of Ride Along.
Doug, yeah, Doug knows that he that's a good friend, and he I tell him I said hi as well, and we are fighting this thing, man. We are all in this together, you know. I know he is ready to come and give whatever support he accustomed to do. So big up himself, man, and we will try our best to be there.
We got a caller on the line. Caller, your line, where are you calling us from? Doug on the line.
I'm not hearing him though.
Oh, you're not hearing him? Okay, stand by. Doug, stand by. Let me fix your audio thingy a little bit there. Stand by, guys. You're watching Ride Along live, and we're giving you guys updated information on what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now. Let me fix my audio. I know. Okay, that's the problem right there. All right. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. You should be able to hear him now. Doug, go right ahead.
Good night, Patel.
Yes, my brother. Good night. What's up?
Well, I am good, and I'm glad to see you trying to get the people out. And I talked to Junior a little earlier on the regular Ride Along program, so I was giving him some heads up about down that region and how difficult the road is, especially at night. So yes. I am glad to see everybody is like on the same page and trying to get everybody out. Sorry, I can't be down there to give you guys some help, but I will try to do the best I can in this part to see what I could start to give my support. You know my
You always on board when it comes to situation like this, even before that. Lesser situation, you're always on board 100%.
Absolutely.
Just I just want you you guys to stay strong and try to get those people out of that zone, out of that red zone and even the orange zone, because I have a bad feeling that this thing is gonna go hard whenever it decides to go. All right, I'm gonna let somebody else call.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
good night, Patel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doug. Again, guys, open up the phone line 718-701-5720. If you want to, you have a question, and Patel is here. He's very knowledgeable of what's happening here. And we want to reiterate, guys, of the misinformation that's circulating and the people who taking time out of their schedule to make people mind, to terrorize people even more. Please stop it. The video, the photos that are circulating, that is not a true representation as to what's happening right now, needs to stop. And we can stop it too. You guys can stop it too. When you get it, just don't share it. Because I can't tell you how much times I see this thing and I say, nah, that cannot be right.
People just be mischievous, you know.
Mischievous.
At a time like this, this is from causing unnecessary panic.
And that's what has been happening, and it's so sad. It's so sad. 718-701-5720. If you have a quick question to ask, that's the number that you call. If you want to call directly, if you want to call on the WhatsApp, but 718-701-5720. I was also playing back an audio clip of the Prime Minister making his declaration earlier. Let me take a little clip of that. That was announced earlier today.
Families to put those arrangements in place. So we work.
Yes. This case, the Prime Minister, to make a declaration after consultation with the director of NEMO, which has been done. The declaration is that there is a substantial prospect that a disaster of a kind set out in column 1 of the schedule to the act, disaster in this regard, volcanic eruption, that there's a substantial prospect of this disaster of a volcanic kind will strike within an applicable period. And the applicable period here is stage 3.
Yeah, guys, that was earlier today. The Prime Minister making a declaration of evacuation in that red zone areas. We have a quick call. Are you a caller? Line caller, go right ahead. You're live. Right along.
Yes, hi. Hi, good night. This is Nyla John.
Hi.
I just, hi, Patel. I just wanted to ask Patel, what is the current situation on the ground in relation to people being evacuated? Is there still heavy traffic on the northern side of the island, on the North Leeward side?
Okay, well, there is traffic. It's heavier than normal. From my vantage point, the traffic was flowing fairly smoothly. But I do understand as you get into Kingston, there was bottleneck somewhere along the line. But from the area, the traffic, while it was busy, but there was no hold up, and I can recall. Now in Shatibele, even though there is the road has to be diverted because of a bridge that has been there from February fixing. But the fact that the evacuation from Shatibele per se took place mostly by boat, there was no heavy traffic coming from Shatibele to make the traffic problem worse. Because, as I said, most people from Shatibele took the boat and went into the safe zone. So because of that, it kind of allowed the traffic to flow. That if there was no boat coming to Shatter. So the boat, as I said, was a marvelous idea. The ships that went to Shatibele to take people out It's a good idea, and it eases the transportation on the road.
Right. I know that on the unfortunately the guy that was talking on the windward side of the island, the north windward side. I think that a lot of people are stranded, on the side of the road. Elderly people have not been evacuated from that end. I'm hoping now that they have sent transportation for people on that side of the island.
Yeah, well,
there's many.
well, caller, that is as I was explaining to the caller a while ago, to my good friend was on from Oya, that the advantage that we have on this side, because of the nature of the leeward area, we are fortunate to have two modes of transportation, one by sea and one by land. On the other hand, the people on the windward side in the north, the windward area, they are not so fortunate because of the rough nature of the sea on that side. So transportation by sea will be problematic. It will be a big challenge to move people out of Obeah, Fancy, and those areas by sea. So because we have a more calmer side of the island, we are living here in the Chateaubriand, Petitbel area, transportation by sea is much more easier, and hence that's the reason why quite a number of persons have been evacuated so far using ships coming into Chateau, and that is also contributed to the less traffic on the road that could have been worse if we didn't have an option.
Right. I would, Patel, thanks so much for the information, and I just wanted to say that the group Rise Hiruna will give support to St. Vincent. As soon as we can. We're here to. The group is here to support, and I believe that we also would have we have some excess masks that we will distribute, within the shelters and so forth. And so I thank you, Patel, for updating your people and, continue your great work.
Thank you, caller. We appreciate you. And I think that we will get so much more solidarity movement of support for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We all in this together. And caller, thank you so much for that little pledge.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you very much. Okay.
Patel, you did a great job in explaining and calming the anxiety of a lot of Vincentian and Caribbean nationals around the world. You did an excellent job, and I appreciate that so much.
Thank you very much.
And people don't even know that I just got your information. I sent it to you, and you jumped on it. It was that's how it happened. But how we have to be as media colleagues. That's how we have to be.
So that's how we have to be. Each one to help one in some form of fashion.
Exactly.
The caller just to make a point that I wish to comment further on.
Yeah.
She was talking about the distribution of masks. And we have to remember that while all of this is happening, when people are moving here and moving there, we are doing that in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes.
And I remember in a meeting with Nemo earlier on in the week, and that was mentioned in terms of the social distancing and in terms of transportation. How are you going to say people must travel in an 18-seater van? Are you going to practice social distance in a disaster? And we were told because it's an emergency that particular aspect will be they will not enforce that for the time being, but they decide that what they would do is practice encourage the wearing of masks and also sanitization, which is good. But the thing about that, while that might be so, I have seen some vehicles pass this afternoon with people inside, and some had masks on, some didn't have. I know that's going to be a problem when they get into the van in terms of sanitization and whatnot. So I hope that at the point when they get off, that some of that is done, because, as I said, we are in a pandemic. Our numbers are fluctuating, but in the lower figures. And I hope that this mass evacuation that we are seeing people moving in droves, it doesn't contribute to a further spike, because this is the nature of the pandemic. When there is crowd, the pandemic feeds on that. So the virus feeds on that. I do hope that our people conscious enough that when they are moving out, if they're not doing so in their own private vehicle, you must put on a mask, you must sanitize. It is important. We cannot run from a disaster and help create another disaster by not adhering to the safety protocols as much as possible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we're going to keep echoing those sentiments. And as you said, the worst part about it that we're going through a pandemic. And people there can be no social distance. People are cramming on boats and everything else.
Getting out, man.
Yeah, and it's the lesser of two evils at this point in time. Exactly. So Patel, we'll keep in touch, my brother. We'll hopefully get an update.
You have my link, so whenever is necessary and you think that you want to have an update of what is happening, just feel free to link me up,
Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. Guys, I want to play back a clip. Patel, we'll keep in touch. I want to play a clip of the opposition leader. He made a comment earlier today, the opposition leader of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Right Honorable Godwin Friday. Let's play back this clip right now and his remarks.
An evacuation order was issued so that we know that the people who are in the danger zone of the La Soufrière volcano, who have been preparing for several months now for this, for them, this is a time that they must move to safety. Some of you will have friends and relatives to go to. Others will be accommodated in the shelters. We want to make sure that you are safe, that you're taken care of, and that you know that we are all in this together. For those people who are in the green zone, the so-called safer zones, we must open our arms to welcome those people who are leaving the danger zone, leaving their homes behind, and entering into a period of disruption and uncertainty in their lives. It may be for a while, but we will get through this together. I just want you to know at this moment that we are all in this together. We will come to the shelters for those who are there and assist as best we can. For those who go to friends and relatives, we will also be ensuring that you get as much assistance as we can provide as a nation together. We have been through adversity before, and God knows we may in the future. But for now, we know that we can overcome this together. It's not going to be easy because we have all the complications of COVID, of dengue, and now La Soufrière. For those of you who have been vaccinated, this will help. For others who intend to be, this is a good time to get it done as quickly as possible. For those who are still making up their minds, please, this is a time for you to decide. Let us come together as a people. We are a God-fearing, resilient, community-loving people. We can get through this together. I will be there with you. I will come to visit. You will hear from me very often because I want to make sure that in this time of crisis, we understand that we are all in it together and that together we will survive. Together we will triumph over this. Let us hope that the volcano, even as we evacuate now, that our worst fears will not be realized. But even so, we must plan for the worst while we hope for the best. Let us come together. Let's help those people who are in the safer areas. Open your arms, welcome your brothers and sisters who have to leave their homes for their own safety and who will face disruptions in their lives. Let us welcome them and do what we can to make life better.
So that was an excerpt there from the opposition leader, Dr. Friday in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let me update everyone. That's what's happening right now, guys. It's very important, right? As I said earlier, there are information that's circulating that are blatantly incorrect, right? I want you guys to look out for it and pay attention and do not share those footage. I showed it earlier, all right? I'm not going to show it again because I think that just helping to push out negative story, people clipping stuff and put it out there. But you guys saw the footage, right? We had all the details as explained by Patel, and by Wayne. All right, the situation is bad, but those pictures that was shown, that was posted, and that have been making its viral way around social media are not accurate depiction as to what's happening. So please, if you have it in your inbox, delete it. Don't continue to share it. Pretty, please. Okay. At the same time, guys, we have to be our brother's keeper, right? We have to be our brother's keeper, and we have to help out in whatever ways possible. I'm going to show this map here again, right? Let me see if I could pull it up. The red zone, the green zone, and the yellow zone. Let me see if I could pull it up here. And if you are in those areas, the red zone areas, we are asking and begging and pleading that you evacuate those areas. All right. Let me see if I could pull it up. Right, there we go. So these red zone areas right here, for the folks who know St. Vincent and the Grenadines very, very well, though these areas right here are the outlining red zone areas. The volcano is located right at this point right here. Mont Soufriere is located right here, and it expands as far out as Orange Hill, Overland, Sandy Bay, Georgetown, in these areas right here. You know it very well because you're from that area. All right, these areas here, Chantabelair, are the orange areas, not as high risk as the yellow areas, but still are asked to be very careful in those yellow area and those orange areas. But I would definitely ask and request, if you have any family members that are still here, and we understand that it might be, or there's still transportation issues evacuating people from certain muster points in these areas right here. We understand that's happening, but that's where we have to be our brother's keeper. All right, we have to be our brother's keeper. We have a lot of fans, a lot of supporters, a lot of viewers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're asking, as best as possible, if you could assist in any way. I know that we're going through COVID. Please wear a mask, and I know social distancing is going to be an issue, but a lot of people in this red zone area still need to get out of here. We heard from Wayne, and he's somewhere in this red zone area. He needs to get out. He just got his family and got some a ride, and that's going to take him out of this areas right here. The folks in the green zone areas right down to here, we have Kingston and those areas right here, St. Andrew. Those are the green zone areas. So those areas right here are where we're going to see a lot of people probably moving to family members and friends in these areas right here. Guys, you know, we always say pay it forward, because we never know when we're going to be in a position to help someone. So these here are the saving grace. So if you are down in these areas right here and you can help somebody, please go ahead and do so. It's solidarity. And it's not only St. Vincent and the Grenadines feeling this, guys. We are one Caribbean, and we all look out for each other. We all going to be there for each other. All right. Again, a quick look at the green zone and the red zone and the orange zone and the yellow zone. If you know anyone in the red zone area, we advise you please to ask them to get out of these areas as soon as possible if they have not already done so. All right, guys, thanks again. We appreciate you sharing. We appreciate you being a part of our program today. Janelle, Andrew, Marcus, and everyone else, thank you so much. Lois, JJ, my producer, Kibbs, our moderator, Mavis, thank you for making the connection with Wayne and everybody else. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Ride Along Live continues tomorrow, Friday at 6 p.m. or regularly scheduled time. Ride Along Live, everyone have a story to tell. Guys, we also want you to like the page. So if you're here for the first time, we want you to like the page, and we're going to continue to post information as we get it. We are in touch with a lot of people on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are providing us with information up to date information. All right. Even though I'm getting information that I have to digest, ingest a little bit and verify the validity of it before I put it out there. So I'm going to take a look at that information and then I put it out there. But for the entire night into tomorrow, We are going to continue to post information and also debunk some of the myth, because we don't want to cause anxiety attack. You will see information of an exploding volcano. You might see even people be so creative as to create videos with people, dead bodies. People get very creative in situations like that, right? You might even expect to see people setting up GoFundMe for assistance and all sorts of craziness, right? If we could probably be a source of fact checking some of this information. If you have these things, before you share it, we urge you to check with a valid media source to verify that this information are actually accurate. Okay? Thanks for BNC family. Thanks for Caribbean family. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Good night.
Everything have to happen. Everything have to happen. Right now. You're tougher and still. On this battlefield. You're tougher and still. Shoulders to the wheel. You're tougher and still. On this battlefield. You're tougher and still. Yo! Just show me some strength. No weakness, show me a lion now. Strength, no weakness, show them who we are. Strength, no weakness, show me a lion now. Everybody strength, no weakness, show them who we are. Yeah. You gotta be firm in this time, son. You gotta be strong in this time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive, and I'm a firm believer. Will forever shine. Just nobody can hold me stick. I will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold me up. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Everybody strength, no weakness from your lion. Everybody strength, no weakness from them who we are. That's when you're
live eruption right here. Live.
Yo, that's when you're everything has to happen. Everything has to happen. Go get her. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can take my energy.
Live eruption right here.
I will let go of negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can take my energy. Nobody can.
Let's face it, this is not normal times, but life, it must go on. And with all these continued restrictions on get-togethers, you need a streaming company like Ride Along Media Group LLC, one that can stream to all your family members to the comfort of their own homes, both privately or publicly, you decide. One who understands your privacy, one who simply cares. So for that wedding, funeral, public or private event, choose the professional production company with the experience and quality guaranteed. Family can travel? Inquire about our seamless remote participant option. Thinking of streaming your virtual event? We handle it all, from multi-camera video production to streaming, post-production, editing, and more via Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, or any platform required. Call us and speak to our experienced professional team. 212-809-4324. That's 212-809-4324. Ride Along Media Group LLC. We're here when you need us.
Are you fed up of your mask or your foggy face shield? Introducing the Fashion Shield from callallpronow.com. Keep your hairdo intact, your makeup flawless, and be fully protected. Get the Fashion Shield now. Call 516-387-4246 or visit callallpronow.com.
Come on, this is your opportunity to tap into the $7.3 trillion industry in this COVID time. Get interactive, hands-on in the Forex and crypto market. Educate yourself in this financial industry. All of this is possible right now with a multi-source income generator. This program will allow you to learn while you earn in this lucrative decentralized industry. Take advantage of this trading academy, personal development, create multi-source stream income, trading ideas in this global market, get discount travel with your own portal, bonus token backed by bitcoins, and so much more. For more information, contact Christine Alexis at 347-834-2852 or Marisha Dash at 646-529-6570. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity of a lifetime. Call now.